Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to make this one quick. First of all, thank you so much to anyone watching that's a returning subscriber. I've got about 700 odd subscribers. Let's try and get that to 1,000. And in terms of viewership, I'm getting a lot of views, but we need to get that number to 4,000 for YouTube to, recognize me and for me to, get more financial motivation, I guess, to put up more videos. And yeah, of course, congratulations to the matrics of 2012. Big ups to you. I'm recording this at 16:49. I have load shedding, and it's a Sunday on the 22nd of January. So results came out recently, and I'm really happy for all of those. It's also part of the reason why I thought I should, shoot this video. I did the Bachelor of Business Science Unpacking. Check that out. I'm going to link it up below. And then I want you guys to see the Bachelor of Commerce one. But I'm going to do this one a bit differently, and I'm only dealing with UCT. If you guys are keen, I can check out the other universities, but there won't be any personal touch over there because I won't know. But let me know if that's something you also want, and then I can have a look at those, university programs as well. Let's get into it. I'm going to go to the Faculty of Commerce. I just Googled UCT Actuarialscience, so I'm on Faculty of Commerce, and then they say, welcome to the section of Actuarialscience. What is AcSci? So AcSci is a discipline that involves maths and stats methodology to assess risk in insurance, finance, and other industries, as well as other professions. What type of person would be interested in AcSci? So the field is a good fit for anyone who loves mathematics, analyzing data, and using the well thought out methodology to find conclusions. AcSci is also a fantastic field for anyone who likes evaluating risks and maintaining the economic stability of insurance or financial organizations. So a lot of math, matriculants just that's all they know, right? They love math. They don't know much about analyzing data. They don't know about using methodology to find conclusions. It's also a fantastic field evaluating risk. In matric, you don't know anything about that. Economic stability, you don't know anything about that. But if you are interested in insurance, if you are interested in financial organizations and how things works, in finance in South Africa, then it's definitely a field to go into. So if you don't understand anything much about the centers, you just love math, but you do have a keen, interest in the financial markets, then it may be something that you might, be interested in and do well in. All right, so what could you do with an organizational AcSci degree? So Actuaries develop statistical techniques to solve financial problems and business problems. They evaluate uncertain future events and various other financial risks. Being able to quantify uncertainty and risk helps individuals and companies concentrate on proactively managing their risk and ensuring that they can withstand future adverse events. So think about something that's happening right now. So the infrastructure in South Africa is basically falling apart. What that means is that more cars are claiming for tire and rim insurance, right? Because of the potholes, because the roads are poorly maintained. And because of load shedding, a lot of cars are getting into accidents because of that stop and go situation. So short-term insurers and general insurers are seeing a lot more claims. What does that mean then? It means that people who are insured are going to experience more or higher premiums rather, because the more you claim, that's your claim history, then the higher of a risk you are. Therefore, the insurer is going to have to price that in. So just something to be mindful of, just realistically, right? You don't want to just read theory and then you're not seeing it in practice. So that's just one of the things that are happening in South Africa. Think about the recent floods in KZN, I almost said UKZN. The floods that happened in KZN earlier last year. What that means, for farmers, and they obviously have business protection. Now they're claiming for events that we usually see, once every couple of years. Now they're becoming more prevalent because of global warming and just climate change. So what's the roll-on effect there, besides you and me seeing higher food prices and therefore inflation and therefore interest rates being increased to fight off that a supply side inflation. It's also a matter of insurance wise. Insurers have to keep higher reserves, they pay more claims. What does that mean for the reinsurance business as well? So if you're thinking like an actuary, but you're also thinking as just a citizen of South Africa, that's sort of how things tie in. Okay, so actuaries operate within a strict professional and ethical framework. It's important to note that actuaries cannot predict the future. but by using statistical techniques given past events in the current environment, they can help to optimize decision making for future certain events. While it is true that most actuaries work in the finance and insurance industry, it is worth noting that within this general industry, there are numerous specialized career fields. For instance, a health insurance actuary could calculate the cost of providing healthcare services to determine how much an actuary company should charge policyholders for premiums. So think of something like a road accident fund, right? Let's leave health actuaries now. Think about the road accident fund. So the road accident fund is basically a fund that you and I can claim on if we are in a car accident, right? But who calculates how much I get? And am I going to get the same amount as my neighbor is going to get? Because you watch shows like I Blew It, and then a lot of these guys get like 1 point something million, 2 million. But what we don't understand is that road accident fund is actually an extrapolation of your lifetime earnings that you're now foregoing because you were in that industry. So it's basically the government compensating you for the fact that you may not be able to work again as a result of this, accident that you're in that is life-changing, etc., etc. It's also meant to compensate you for the costs that you paid when you were, in hospitalized while you were recovering from it. But like, if you think of me and you think of someone else, do we have the same current earnings? Therefore, do we have the same, opportunity to earn in the future? Now, what does that mean for what number the road accident fund is going to, settle on? And if you don't think about me and you, think about a child, right? Think about a child whose parents are professionals, right? So those parents can typically take their child to university, the child can do well, and then they can earn XYZ, right? Compared to a child whose parents maybe cannot afford to send them to, a university. So that child, if those two kids are in a car accident, then the extrapolation of life earnings unfairly will be based on their parents' ability to send them to schools that will enable them to go to university and therefore earn more. So it's an unfair, calculation, but that's how it is. It's based on facts. It's not based on feelings. Not to say that a child whose parents, don't have the means to send them to university can't do as well as that one. But when you're looking at the facts and you're looking at the numbers, the road accident fund is basically saying this child's parents financially would be able to send this child to university. Let's say the child is 5 or 6 years in an accident, would be able to send the child to schools like this, preparing them for university, and in university they'll be able to, study, join the employment, market and earn X amount. Whereas this child, statistically speaking, their parents may not be able to send them to good schools that will enable them to, gain entry at a credible university, and then, uplift and uplift themselves and join the working world. So it's unfair like that. So one of the children might end up with R1 million, a road accident fund, and then the other one might end up with 3 or 4 million rand. So that's just something to think of. But that's an actuary. That's an actuary that's sitting on the back end doing the calculation for the road accident fund. They could be an in-house actuary. They could be, a person who's external to them, doing the calculation, sort of sort of a consultancy. So it's just something to be mindful of. It's ridiculous to think that actuaries are sort of these guys. Some of us are girls. They thought of these guys who sit behind computers and that's all they do. But you can actually see actuaries in life, in excuse the pun, but like in real life applications, in things that you do on the daily and that you're just not aware of, right? Okay, so life insurance companies too use actuaries to determine likely life expectancy and premium rates based on an individual's risk factors. Other actuaries work in property and casualty insurance, again compiling and analyzing data used to write insurance policies. So that's just very high level. AcSci department put this together. This is quite useful. I didn't have this when I started. Right, so when I went here, I went undergraduate program, undergraduate options for, AcSci, and this is where we are. So undergraduate is your first graduate, your first degree. So if you're in matric right now, you are applying for an undergraduate degree. It doesn't matter where. Postgraduate programs is for people who already have undergraduate degrees. So you go from matric, you do an undergraduate degree, and then you do a postgraduate degree. So please, if you're only applying this year going forward, you cannot be applying for a postgraduate degree, postgraduate program. That's not possible. You're applying for the wrong thing, just something to be mindful of. Okay, so I think this is going to answer some of the questions that we have, and we don't need to unpack the actual degree because, like I said, Bachelor of Business Science and Bachelor of Commerce is exactly the same. The only difference is that the fourth year is Business Science, whereas for BCom it's only a 3-year degree and you don't have an honors degree. But this question, when I look through it, this page, when I look through it, basically touches on all of the questions that you possibly have, right, for the differences. Okay. So the difference between AcSci and QuantFi. So in AcSci, you learn to identify and evaluate uncertain future events and financial risks for organizations. Actuaries typically work in insurance, risk management, and banking. QuantFi shares the same foundations as AcSci, but with more emphasis on applications in the investment and financial industries. Career options include fields like investment banking, derivatives trading, and quantitative asset management. So I specialize in quantitative finance, and there was actually a person in the chat, on one of my videos who asked me, or was it on Twitter? Someone had asked me, salary-wise, do actuaries earn more or less in insurance or traditional fields than in asset management? So what you're basically seeing here is actuaries can work in both. And obviously, depending on the field, depending on the budget, depending on the head count of that particular team, that's actually what determines your earning potential and not necessarily your degree. So that's just something to be mindful of. You could go into insurance, your classmate could go into investment banking, but them earning more is not based on the degree, because you guys will both have the same degree. It's based on how much of a budget and how much of a head count their team has relative to yours, and does their team value them having more exams, and does yours, you understand, basically how do you move up in an organization, and how do you earn more, basically, which is a conversation that's between you and your manager, but it's also something that you can bring up when you're interviewing, just to better understand how do I move forward and how do I grow in a role like this, which is a key question you'd want to ask in an interview situation, right? What are your options when you're choosing between AcSci or QuantFi undergrad? So you've got Bachelor of Business Science in AcSci, BCom in AcSci, BCom in AcSci specializing in QuantFi, BBusSc specializing in QuantFi. For information on the requirements, then you can just check out the prospectus, right? That's for matriculants. And then you've also got the Actuarial conversion course, which is an advanced diploma in Actuarialscience. It's an intensive program designed to provide graduates from disciplines other than AcSci who have demonstrated strong mathematical and statistical skills entering into an actuarial career and the actuarial profession. So that's not for matriculants, right? Because it's to provide graduates. So this is a postgraduate diploma in Actuarialscience. So it's for people who did maths and stats. That's also a question that came through in one of my videos. If you did maths and stats and you think you want to get into AcSci, you apply for the advanced diploma in AcSci, you do a few AcSci modules, and then you build from there. If you did, pure maths, if you did applied maths, if you did commerce, but then you did pure mathematics. So if you did, say, accounting, but you did pure mathematics, so MEM 1, MEM 2, then this is also a program that you can apply for to see if you can switch and gain entry, I guess, into this actual career. So that's something to be mindful of, but it's not for matriculants, it's for people who already have graduate degrees, right? Alright, difference between BBusSc and BCom. Entry requirements similar for both. You can actually switch between the two when you're in the program. Each degree offers a variety of postgraduate options to cater for both the interests of our students and employment needs. Both degrees are highly marketable. I can tell you that that's true. In the standard format, a BBusSc takes 4 years to complete and a BCom takes 3 years, right? As the BBusSc takes a year longer to complete, students specialize in a discipline up to 4th year, which is NQF or National Qualifications Framework Level 8, enabling them to apply for a related master's degree. BCom students can apply to do a 4th year level NQF level 8 as well, qualification known as honors or postgraduate diploma after completing their 3rd year degree. This enables them to apply for a related master's degree after finishing honors. So if you did BCom, you'd need to do honors and then the postgraduate diploma, and then the master's. Whereas if you did BBusSc, you just do the master's the following year. A BCom and BBusSc may also be taken by SS students affected by disparities in educational or life experiences through the academic development program. So that's something someone asked me as well. We used to call it the EDU program, right? So it's offered through the Commerce Education Development Unit, so EDU. The BBusSc can take over a 4-year or 5-year period, and the BCom a 3 or 4-year period. In EDU, students receive a range of additional support. So it's basically one degree, right? BCom, BBusSc, or BCom EDU, right? So BCom EDU is for students from academically disadvantaged, high schools. So when you apply for the BCom straight or mainstream, as we call it, if you don't get in there, then they can refer you or add you onto the, academic development unit, where you get more support. It's not to say that you're not good. In second year, you guys actually join the main class and you guys are mainstream again. And your degree doesn't say EDU. Your degree just says Bachelor of Commerce Actuarialscience, Bachelor of Commerce, Quantitative Finance. So that's just something to be mindful of as well. So you going into the EDU is basically, it prepares you for mainstream. Otherwise, the degree is the same, the content is the same, the exams are the exact same. So just be mindful of that. If you're putting into the EDU, it's basically saying, look, from the high school that you're coming from, we think you could benefit from extra support. That's all it's saying. It's not taking away your distinctions. It's not taking away how well you did. It's not taking away how well you can do. So that's something that a lot of students fight when they're moving from matric onto, the UCT environment. But when you're going to university, take as much support as is offered. That's my thing. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how smart you are. Everyone is smart at UCT. Let me tell you now, for free. Everyone is smart. You think you're smart, there's someone smarter. You think you're smarter than the guy next to you, the guy two seats behind you probably got, two more distinctions than you. So everyone is smart. So if someone is offering you extra support, get the extra support so that you can come out with the degree that you intended to come out with. Do you understand what I mean? Not, yes, I came out with a degree, but I didn't get any help. That doesn't matter. Employers aren't going to say, which degree do you have? And you're going to tell them, did you get any help? No, it's just which degree did you get? That's it. So if you get help, it's actually smarter to get as much help as you can, because then, things are faster, things are quicker, things are more pleasant, and you don't have to, go through, the emotional toil of having to try to do everything yourself. I'm mentioning this now because I was also a matric who thought she was really smart, and I didn't reach out for help when I needed it. So it's just something that I wish I had known at the time. Cool. Let's move on. The curriculum may be divided into the following categories of courses. So you get core courses in business science, ancillary and related courses specifically corresponding to subjects in the Actuarial Society of South Africa. For more info on that, then you can click on the undergraduate handbook, prospective and frequently asked questions. You can also ask about, interest in the actuarial profession there. Okay, so you may only choose the following when you apply: AcSci, BBusSc or BCom, mainstream or ADP, which is Academic Development Program, which is, Education Development Unit. Please note, if you do not meet the conditional offer points in AcSci, but you meet the criteria for other commerce degree, we'll automatically make you an offer for those degrees. If in your final matric and NBTs, you meet the minimum actuarial science entrance degree, you will be eligible to register for an AcSci degree. All right, so the offers have already been sent out. NBTs, you already had your results. You've got your conditional offers off of your provisional offers. If you didn't get the conditional offer, there's of course, if you got the conditional but then you didn't meet the requirements in your final matric, it happens, things happen. But you met, the requirements for other commerce degrees, then you still will make you an offer for another degree. Register for that degree. UCT is very generic for commerce degrees in the first year. So you will be likely doing the same thing and sitting in the same classes as the AcSci kids, but you'll just be doing a different mathematics and you'll be doing a different statistics, right? You'll be doing stats 1000 S and F, or you'll be doing, the mathematics will be MEM 1010F and MEM 1010 or MEM 1011S. So the mathematics isn't the mathematics for the people who specialize in maths, and the stats aren't for specialists, but the degree is basically the same. So what you can actually do, if you do plan on moving to AcSci, you can chat to the course convener and register for MEM 1000 and register for stats 10006 in the second semester. That's just something to be mindful of. But take the degree that UCT offers you. Don't be disgruntled if you didn't get into Actuarialscience. It's not the end of the world. You can still get whatever you want to do at the end of, AcSci. At the end of the degree that you get into, and you can build your degree, which is something that you'll see, I think, and you'll understand a bit more, 6 months later into your degree. So I plan on partnering with, a friend of mine, Moanga. She's from Wits. She also has a channel, which I'll link below in the description. And we're going to do an AcSci graduate and just the general MAM stats or STEM degree university check-in in April. We want to do it, just after test one, but before your exams. Check in with, new matriculants. Where are you? What is different between varsity, what you thought, and, the reality. We'd love it to be an interactive section. I don't know if you guys want to put, questions down below beforehand. We don't think we're going to do it live. I think we're going to do some recordings. So just, drop something in the chat, interact with me, follow me on Twitter. It's under the same name, Content SA. And then we can basically tackle questions that you guys have, and then we're not just, a siki and logo. I'm going to cut the video here. Like I said, I'm under load shedding. I just thought I would drop this quick one. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and yeah, let's grow the channel. Let's share information. Let's be more informed, and let's get these degrees.